Okay, so now we've taken the rafter back off of our dry fit, and I have it set back up here on the sawhorses. You can see this is where we marked out the top of our column. So what I want to do now is transfer these lines around and make the same mark on the other side, so then that way I can cut out this section, which is called a bird's mouth. This bird's mouth will allow the column to then sit on top, or the rafter to sit on top of the column, and we can drive a trunnel down through into the top of the column to hold it. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just going to transfer my lines all the way around. Now here's where I need to make my angle again. So it's a 8/12 pitch for our roof. So all I need to do is, if I take my framing square, I can actually set it to 4 and 6. And it's still the same angle. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to, here are my two lines coming around. Set one side of the framing square to 4, the other side to 6. And there's my angle. So all of this material is coming out here. The other thing that I need to do is I need to cut my rafter tail so it's equal. I've already cut one rafter for the building, for the bent here, and I need to make sure that all my rafter tails match. I believe the drawings actually show or call for a 1 foot overhang. Well, these timbers, the way they came in, they're a little short, so we're not going to get a 1 foot overhang. We're actually going to get about a 4.5. That's what we got out of our other piece. So I'm just going to come here, mark the end of my framing square. So that's going to be my 4.5. And to make sure that I still have the same angle that I need, I'll go ahead and push this back out to 8/12 to make sure it matches the pitch. So what this is going to do now is, when the rafter comes down at an angle, but the cut is going to be perfectly vertical, which allows you to put fascia board on later down the road, or you can just leave the exposed rafter tail. That's up to that's ultimately up to the owner of the building. But in this case, we're cutting our rafter tails to 4.5 inches long, just because that's the length of the timber that we have to work with. And again, I'll transfer these lines all the way around using a combination of the circular saw and the hand saw. I'll get this material all cut out. But first, like I said, I need to make sure I bring my marks all the way around. And because sometimes these timbers aren't square, I always go back to making sure that I'm maintaining the same angle. So I'm using my framing square to set to 8/12. And you can actually see, as a result of this timber not being perfectly square, my lines don't quite line up. So I'm going to run through and just check everything again. I believe it's right here that set me at a square. But I'm going to go ahead and get this all lined up. I'm going to start making my cuts with the circular saw, and then I'll finish it with the hand saw.